stop. Whatever you are doing, stop. I speak not to your reasoning mind, nor to your fear, nor to the part of you that still believes wealth is earned through toil and tears. I speak to your soul, which has known all along. You were never meant to struggle for money. You were meant to speak to it. Money is not your master. It is not your opponent. It is not a finish line at the end of suffering. It is your obedient servant, awaiting your command. When the tongue aligns with truth, money obeys, not slowly, not someday, not after worthiness has been proven, but instantly, joyfully, and without resistance. One sentence, spoken in spiritual authority, turns lack into overflow. One sentence, when drenched in divine recognition, bends the seen and the unseen. I say it now with power. Money is not my master. It is my obedient servant. This is not poetry. This is not metaphor. This is law, divine law, irrefutable, eternal, perfect. And it is ready to work for you. The law I speak of is older than your doubt, older than your bank account, older than fear itself. It is the law of the spoken word, coupled with the law of instant manifestation. The moment the decree is pure, the moment the tone carries faith instead of fear, heaven responds, "Thou shalt decree a thing, and it shall be established unto thee." That is not suggestion, it is legal authority in the court of spirit. When a king speaks, the word becomes law. When a beggar speaks, the wind ignores him. Which voice do you wear when you speak of money? Do you murmur like a victim or decree like a victor? Money does not respond to hope. It responds to command. You may have tried visualizing, affirming, hoping, praying. But if your voice wavers, if your tone trembles, if your word is dipped in doubt, then all your declarations collapse like paper against steel. You must speak not to the problem, but into the atmosphere, as if the problem never existed. That is the great secret. You do not move money by describing your lack. You move it by announcing your rank. Imagine a well-trained animal. It does not move because you need it to. It moves because you issued a clear, confident, consistent command. It hears tone, it hears posture, it hears certainty. So does money. If you say, "Please come," money will hesitate. If you say, "I don't know how," money will reflect your confusion. But when you say, "I command it now," with the conviction of heaven behind you, all of creation hears and obeys. Say it with me again. Money is not my master, it is my obedient servant. Let the old theology collapse. Let the gospel of effort die. Let the law of divine alignment rise in you now. Now we speak the sentence, not as a chant, not as a wish, not as an experiment, but as a verdict, as a spiritual ruling passed down from the throne of dominion. The sentence is this: money, I now speak to you. You are divine substance, and you obey my voice. Let no one rush past these words. Let no seeker dare dilute their power. These are not poetic flourishes to entertain the mind. They are holy instructions for commanding matter through spirit. For wealth is not a number, but a vibration. It is not paper, but presence. It is not earned, but declared. The tongue is the key, and this sentence turns the lock. Let me show you why this sentence works. First, it names money rightly, not as a human master, not as a wicked temptation, not as an idol to fear, but as what it truly is, divine substance. It is not from banks. It is not from bosses. It is not from clients or contracts or economic conditions. It is divine. It is spiritual. It is born from the invisible realm of law, shaped by voice, and formed through the mold of consciousness. Until you call it divine, you will always fear it. Until you call it obedient, you will always chase it. Second, this sentence removes personification. You do not ask money how it feels. You do not wonder if it will cooperate. You do not shrink before its silence. You command it. You speak to it as a master speaks to a tool. You do not romanticize a hammer. You lift it and strike. So it is with money. You do not worship it. You direct it. And third, this sentence asserts spiritual control. not through emotion, not through desperation, not through strained begging, but through clear, calm, unshakable authority. This is not theater. This is alignment. This is the tone of the soul that remembers who it is. You are not a hopeful borrower in a long line at the gate of provision. You are the gate. You are the word that opens it. You are the voice that names the amount, declares the timing, and commands its obedience. So now we practice, not just once, but with rhythm, with breath, with the stillness of law behind every word. Breathe in fully. Let the breath reach down to your belly. For shallow breath is the signature of fear, but deep breath is the foundation of certainty. Now, on your next exhale, speak with me slowly and without apology. Money, I now speak to you. You are divine substance, and you obey my voice. Again. Money, I now speak to you. You are divine substance, and you obey my voice. And once more, with every cell in agreement, with your inner court silent before your decree. Money, I now speak to you. You are divine substance, and you obey my voice. This is not performance. This is law. This is not magic. This is dominion. Speak it daily. Speak it before looking at numbers. Speak it before signing contracts. Speak it before checking balances. Speak it until the world bends. Speak it until matter moves. Speak it until the room feels different and your atmosphere shifts from survival to surplus. Speak it not as a suggestion, but as the sentence that shifts all reality. Let us now destroy the idol of hustle, the illusion of strain, the grinding myth that has worn saints down to their bones and taught the spiritually royal to live like beggars. For too long, humanity has labored under the lie that money is made by sweat. That value must bleed out of the brow. That abundance is earned only through sacrifice and exhaustion and the brutal badge of effort. But I tell you now, this is not divine law, it is human programming. This is not spiritual truth, it is carnal hypnosis, and you must decide today whether you will serve hustle or serve harmony, whether you will cling to the sweat-soaked creed of the world or enter the peaceful current of the kingdom, where money comes by decree, not by distress, where wealth flows by vibration, not calculation, where spiritual substance answers voice, not effort, not education, not experience, not endless striving. We begin by replacing the language of bondage with the language of alignment. No longer shall you say, I have to hustle, for the word hustle implies that wealth is elusive, that supply is suspicious, that money is hiding and must be chased down with brute force and anxious cunning. But money is not hiding, it is listening. Money is not a fugitive, it is a soldier awaiting instruction. So we say instead, I have to harmonize. I align with the current of divine flow. I get in rhythm with the law that governs increase. I move with the melody of spiritual abundance, and I let it carry me. When I speak in tune with truth, supply comes not with a fight, but with ease. No longer shall you say, I earn it. This phrase must be torn from your vocabulary like a weed from a garden. It is the chant of the spiritually amnesiac, the mantra of those who have forgotten that all things are given freely to the one who remembers their inheritance. Replace it immediately with, I align with it. Money is not earned, it is permitted. It is not achieved, it is received. And it cannot find you if your speech betrays a consciousness of toil. You do not earn sunlight. You open the curtain. You do not earn gravity. You surrender to its pull. So it is with divine supply. You do not earn it by labor.
Our words are like water and sunlight for the soil of our subconscious mind. The question is, which are you nourishing? I once met a man named Leo, a skilled carpenter who had a remarkable talent for creating furniture that seemed to come alive with personality. But every day, he muttered, no one appreciates real craftsmanship anymore. I can't make a living doing this, and it's too risky to follow my passion. He didn't notice it at first, but his words were commanding his life to reflect scarcity. Jobs were inconsistent, clients were unreliable, and he struggled to make ends meet. His words had watered weeds of doubt and limitation for so long that they had taken root and spread. One day, a mentor challenged him to experiment. For just 1 week, he was to replace all fear-driven statements with words of faith and possibility. Instead of saying, "I can't find clients," he said, "I am attracting the perfect clients who value my work." Instead of, "I'll never get ahead," he said, "Every day, opportunities for growth find me." At first, it felt strange. Words spoken with faith seemed almost foreign. But Leo persisted. Within days, his energy shifted. He noticed a small order he would have overlooked before. A friend referred him to someone who had been searching for his exact craftsmanship, and he started to see patterns of abundance where before he only saw scarcity. It wasn't magic in the mystical sense, it was cause and effect. His words had shifted his internal state, and his subconscious mind had begun to align his actions and perceptions with possibility. By the end of the month, his orders had doubled, and he was finally able to earn a living doing what he loved. The weeds had been replaced by flowers, simply because he changed what he chose to nurture with his words. Consider how this works in relationships as well. People often speak from fear. "No one will ever love me. I always attract the wrong people. I'm destined to be alone." These statements water weeds of rejection, loneliness, and despair. Their subconscious mind, obedient as ever, begins filtering experiences to match that expectation. Meanwhile, someone who says, "I am attracting people who appreciate me," or "love flows naturally into my life," begins to notice connections, gestures, and moments that affirm this possibility. The outer world is simply reflecting what the inner world has been taught to nurture. History is filled with examples of people who spoke faith-filled language in the face of impossibility and achieved the extraordinary. Imagine Martin Luther King Jr. standing before thousands in a world divided by prejudice and fear, declaring, "I have a dream." Those words were not just poetry. They were planting seeds of possibility, courage, and hope in the collective consciousness of a nation. His words shifted mindsets, inspired action, and mobilized hearts in ways that fear-filled language never could. Fear narrows the field of vision. Faith expands it. Fear limits action. Faith fuels it. I remember a young woman named Emily who had always dreamed of becoming an artist but had been told repeatedly, "You'll never make it. It's not practical. You need a real job." For years, she watered the weeds of doubt by repeating those messages in her mind, even though she secretly longed for a life filled with color and expression. One day, she consciously decided to speak differently. "I am an artist whose work inspires others," she said aloud each morning. "I am creating opportunities to share my talent with the world." At first, it felt like pretending, but slowly, doors began to open. A local gallery offered her a space to exhibit, friends commissioned paintings, and her confidence began to bloom. Her life had begun reflecting the flowers she had planted through faith-filled language. Even small, everyday moments are shaped by the words we choose to speak. Think of a parent who constantly scolds a child with statements like, "You never listen," "You're always messing up," or "You'll never succeed." The child's subconscious mind absorbs these words, and those seeds grow into self-doubt and insecurity. Conversely, a parent who encourages a child with affirmations like, "You are capable," "I believe in you," or "Every mistake is a lesson," nurtures confidence, resilience, and curiosity. The impact is subtle at first, but over time, it shapes the trajectory of a life. And here's the fascinating part. This principle applies to every area of life, from money to health to creativity. People who repeatedly say, "I can't afford this," or "I'll never be healthy," are nourishing weeds of limitation that constrain their actions, perception, and opportunities. People who declare, "I attract abundance," or "I am healthy and strong," are planting seeds that inspire action, focus attention on solutions, and create opportunities that align with those statements. Words are not just decoration, they are powerful instructions to the subconscious mind. Take the story of Raj, a man who had struggled with chronic stress and low energy for years. He would often say, "I'm exhausted all the time. I can't handle this," Life is too much. His body reflected his words. One day, a friend introduced him to the concept of speaking faith-filled language. Raj began saying, "I am full of energy. I am calm and capable, and I handle challenges with ease." He repeated these phrases daily, with feeling and conviction. Within weeks, his stress levels began to drop, his energy returned, and he noticed solutions to problems he had been stuck on for years. His words had replaced weeds with flowers, nurturing health, clarity, and resilience. Florence Scovel Shinn's insight captures this perfectly. Whatever man feels deeply or images clearly is impressed upon the subconscious mind and carried out in the minutest detail. The subconscious mind is loyal. It will obey your dominant feelings and words, whether they serve you or harm you. Fear, doubt, and limitation are like fertilizer for weeds. Faith, alignment, and clarity are fertilizer for flowers. The choice is yours. You can water the negative patterns you've carried for years, or you can deliberately nurture the possibilities you wish to manifest. Even in the most challenging circumstances, this principle holds. Consider someone facing financial hardship. If they constantly say, "We'll never get ahead," their mind focuses only on scarcity, missed opportunities, and obstacles. If instead they say, "Every day, opportunities to create abundance are coming to me," they begin to notice solutions, take inspired actions, and open doors that had seemed closed. Words create perception. Perception guides action. Action produces results. It's a chain reaction that begins with the language you choose to speak and think every day. And the beauty of it is this: you do not need perfection. You do not need every thought to be positive. You do not need every word to be perfectly aligned. What matters is the dominant current, the majority of your thoughts and words, and what they are nurturing within you. When your dominant language is one of faith, possibility, and alignment with your desires, the flowers will grow, even if a few weeds try to sneak in. So I ask you, look at the language you are using daily. Are your words watering weeds of fear, limitation, and doubt? Or are they nurturing the flowers of faith, hope, and possibility? What seeds do you want to see grow in your life? The choice is yours, but know this: whatever you water will grow. Words are the water. Belief is the sunlight. Your life is the garden. And the flowers of your desires are waiting to bloom. Let's explore one of the most transformative truths in life. One consistent change in your self-talk can completely transform your opportunities, relationships, and outcomes. It sounds almost too simple, doesn't it? Just a shift in the words you choose to speak to yourself, and everything changes. But simplicity is often the disguise of power. Imagine standing at the edge of a river. The water is dark, turbulent, and uncertain. You are afraid to step in. Now imagine that each word you speak is a plank, a bridge, or a stepping stone across that river. The more aligned, positive, and intentional your words, the more solid the bridge becomes, until you can walk confidently to the other side, where your desires, your opportunities, and your life await. I remember a woman named Hannah. Hannah had always dreamed of becoming a motivational speaker, but she carried a heavy inner narrative that whispered, "Who would listen to you? You're not qualified. You'll embarrass yourself." Every time she rehearsed a speech in front of a mirror, she repeated those doubts under her breath, unconsciously reinforcing a life where speaking to an audience seemed impossible. Then, one day, she read Florence Scovel Shinn's words, "Whatever man feels deeply or images clearly is impressed upon the subconscious mind and carried out in the minutest detail." Hannah paused. She realized her self-talk had been planting barriers in her own life. She decided to experiment with a change. Each morning, she spoke aloud, "I am confident, capable, and ready to inspire others." She said it with feeling, as if it were already true. At first, her voice shook. She felt silly. But within days, something subtle shifted inside her. Her shoulders straightened, her energy lifted, and she found herself volunteering to speak at small events she would have avoided before. Each step reinforced her new words, creating a cycle where her self-talk led to action, and action led to results. Months later, Hannah stood on a stage in front of hundreds, delivering a speech that moved people to tears, a speech she never would have delivered if she had not changed the words she spoke to herself. Consider the example of someone navigating their career. Many people, trapped in jobs they dislike, repeatedly say things like, "I'm stuck," "I can't get promoted," or "I'll never have what I want." Their self-talk creates a loop where opportunities are overlooked, risk is avoided, and growth is stifled. Then there's someone who decides to say, "I am learning every day, growing in skill and confidence. I attract opportunities aligned with my purpose." That small shift in language does more than change mood. It reprograms attention. The subconscious mind begins to scan for possibilities, mentors, and openings that align with this new narrative. Doors that seemed permanently closed suddenly begin to swing open, often in ways the conscious mind could not have orchestrated. Even relationships respond to the words we consistently use about ourselves. Take the story of a man named Daniel, who had always believed he was unworthy of love. "I'm not lovable," he would mutter in private. "I'll always be alone." Those words, repeated for years, shaped his confidence, body language, and the way he engaged with others. Then he tried a simple experiment. Each day, he said, "I am worthy of love, and I attract healthy, fulfilling relationships." He began noticing kindness in interactions that had always been invisible before. He spoke with more ease and openness, and people responded differently. Within a year, he met someone who mirrored the respect, warmth, and affection he had been declaring. His life had transformed not because he forced change externally, but because he changed the dominant instructions he was giving internally. History offers powerful examples of this principle in action. Abraham Lincoln, before becoming one of the greatest presidents in history, faced repeated defeats and personal tragedies. Yet he continued to speak of his purpose, integrity, and vision for a united nation. He internalized language of faith, justice, and perseverance. This consistent self-talk reinforced his resilience, guiding decisions and actions that ultimately reshaped a nation. The point is not that words alone create miracles. They create the internal conditions that allow miracles to emerge. I want you to picture your own life for a moment. Think about the areas where you feel stuck, frustrated, or disappointed. Now imagine that all of those experiences were influenced by the words you have been repeating, consciously or unconsciously. What if, for just 1 week, you committed to changing the dominant words you speak to yourself about that area? Not by forcing perfection, but by consistently choosing alignment with your desire? What could shift? What doors could open? What opportunities could you begin to notice that were invisible before? I once met a young artist named Mia. Mia was frustrated because her work was never recognized, and she constantly complained, "I'll never make it in this industry." Then she tried a different approach. She said each morning, "I am an artist whose work resonates with the right people. Opportunities to share my art flow to me effortlessly." Within weeks, invitations arrived to collaborate with other artists. A local gallery offered her a space to exhibit, and social media followers began growing rapidly. Her reality hadn't changed magically overnight. Her dominant words had reoriented her focus, her actions, and her perception, allowing opportunity to enter her life in ways she had not seen before. Even small, daily interactions are shaped by this principle. Think about the last time you engaged with someone and felt frustrated. Did you say to yourself, "They always do this to me," or "This never works out"? That internal dialogue reinforced resentment, disappointment, and disconnection. Now imagine shifting that self-talk to something like, "I respond with calm and understanding, and relationships grow stronger through clarity and respect." That subtle change begins to alter your energy, the tone of your interactions, and the outcomes you experience. One consistent change in self-talk can ripple outward, transforming how the world responds to you. And here's the most compelling part. This principle works even in adversity. A woman I know named Sarah faced a series of setbacks in her health. Every doctor's visit seemed discouraging, every treatment felt exhausting, and her inner voice said, "I'm never going to get better." But then she consciously changed her self-talk. "My body is healing every day. I am supported. and I am resilient. She repeated it consistently, with belief, even on difficult days. Slowly, her energy shifted, small improvements appeared, and her commitment to her well-being strengthened. The consistent self-talk had created an internal environment in which healing and solutions could emerge. Florence Scovel Shinn captured this beautifully when she wrote, "Your word is your wand. Your word is your wand of power. The word you speak is the magic wand which can create or destroy." One consistent change in self-talk is like picking up that wand and pointing it deliberately toward the life you desire. It is not an instant fix, nor is it a temporary trick. It is a powerful, reliable method to realign your inner state, reprogram your subconscious mind, and transform every aspect of your outer world. Every day presents a new opportunity to practice this. Each morning, each conversation, each private thought is a chance to issue new instructions. It is simple, yes, but profound. One consistent change in self-talk sets off a chain reaction. Your internal energy shifts, your attention narrows toward solutions and opportunities, your confidence rises, and your actions naturally follow. And when your actions align with your desires, the outer world must respond. So, I challenge you to observe the words you speak to yourself right now. What are the dominant instructions you are giving? Are they leading toward limitation, doubt, and fear, or toward growth, opportunity, and possibility? The choice is in your hands, and the beauty is, one consistent change is all it takes to begin a ripple that transforms your life. Speak intentionally, speak with feeling, and watch how life bends to follow the current of your words, shaping opportunities, relationships, and outcomes in ways you never imagined were possible. Let's explore a truth that most people never fully grasp: the power of visualization paired with intentional language. It's one thing to speak your desires and shift your self-talk, but when you combine those words with vivid mental imagery, the effect is amplified beyond imagination. Your subconscious mind doesn't distinguish between what is vividly imagined and what is physically real. If you see it, feel it, and speak it, it begins to accept it as truth. This principle has been used by visionaries, artists, athletes, and leaders throughout history. It is not speculation. It is a law of creation, quietly operating every moment of your life. I recall a woman named Lily, a single mother working 2 jobs while dreaming of opening her own bakery. Every day she spoke affirmations like, "I am creating my bakery." But at first, her mind still felt like it was in the middle of a storm of doubt. Then her mentor suggested she add visualization. Each night before sleep, she pictured her bakery in exquisite detail, the scent of fresh bread, the warm sunlight streaming through the windows, customers laughing and chatting, her hands kneading dough with love. She imagined herself greeting people by name, taking pride in every loaf, feeling joy in the work she had always longed to do. Her words and images aligned. Within months, she discovered a small shop for rent at a perfect location, received unexpected financial support from a friend who had always admired her craft, and started her business. Her visualization had primed her subconscious mind to notice opportunities, inspire confidence, and take decisive action. The image in her mind had prepared the world to reflect it back. Visualization works because the brain cannot distinguish between what is vividly imagined and what is experienced. Athletes use it constantly. Olympic swimmers picture every stroke, every turn, every breath before they even touch the water. Tennis players imagine the perfect serve hundreds of times before stepping onto the court. These mental rehearsals strengthen neural pathways in the brain, creating a map that guides their actions toward success. Your mind operates the same way in life beyond sports. When you visualize your ideal relationships, financial abundance, health, or career, you are literally creating a blueprint that your subconscious mind follows. Think about John, a young musician who dreamed of playing on a major stage. He struggled with self-doubt, always saying, "I'll never make it." One day, he decided to visualize every detail of success. He pictured the lights on stage, the audience cheering, the feeling of his music moving hearts. He paired this with affirmations. "I am a musician whose music inspires and touches lives." Within months, he was invited to perform at a festival he had previously thought was out of reach. The combination of vivid visualization and deliberate language had rewired his perception, prepared his actions, and attracted opportunities in perfect alignment with his vision. Even everyday situations respond to this approach. Imagine preparing for a difficult conversation. Instead of walking in with fear or imagining confrontation, picture the outcome you desire: calm, clarity, understanding, and mutual respect. Speak to yourself beforehand. I express myself with confidence and grace, and we find common ground. Your body posture changes, your tone becomes more confident, and your choices during the conversation naturally align with the outcome you have already seen in your mind. Visualization, combined with aligned language, becomes a rehearsal for reality, allowing you to act in ways that are consistent with the life you want to create. Historical figures understood this principle intuitively. Thomas Edison envisioned the light bulb long before it existed. He imagined the mechanism, the filament, and the result. His words, his sketches, and his mental images all reinforced each other, guiding countless experiments until the invention manifested. Florence Scovel Shinn highlighted this dynamic in her writings. Whatever man feels deeply or images clearly is impressed upon the subconscious mind and carried out in the minutest detail. She emphasized that the imagination is not fantasy. It is a tool, a laboratory where reality is first constructed before it appears in the physical world. I want you to picture a scenario that often holds people back: financial scarcity. Someone might say, "I'll never have enough money," or "opportunities never come my way." If they only speak these words, they reinforce limitation. But if they intentionally visualize abundance, the bank account growing, the business flourishing, clients expressing gratitude, and combine it with affirmations like, "I am attracting wealth and opportunities effortlessly," the subconscious mind begins scanning life for solutions, connections, and actions that align with this abundant vision. The energy shifts, the perception changes, and doors that once seemed closed begin to open. Take the story of Marcus, an aspiring writer who faced rejection after rejection from publishers. He could have given up, but he decided to visualize his success every night. He imagined holding his published book, hearing readers' praise, signing copies, and walking through a bookstore displaying his work. He spoke to himself, "I am a published author, and my words inspire others." This dual practice, visualization and aligned language, shifted his mindset and guided his actions. Within a year, he received an acceptance letter from a publisher he had long admired. His inner rehearsal had become external reality. Visualization and intentional speech also cultivate emotional resilience. When you see and speak the life you want, your mind begins to rehearse not just the actions, but the feelings associated with success. You experience the joy, relief, pride, and confidence as if it has already happened. These emotions reinforce the belief and program your subconscious mind to recognize aligned actions, reinforcing a cycle of creation. Conversely, if your mind constantly rehearses fear, failure, or lack, you train your subconscious to focus on obstacles, amplifying doubt and inaction. Even relationships benefit enormously from this principle. Imagine wanting a partner who is kind, loving, and aligned with your values. Repeating affirmations like, "I attract love that supports my highest good," is powerful, but pairing it with visualization magnifies the effect. See yourself sharing meaningful moments, laughing together, supporting each other's dreams. Feel the connection, joy, and ease as if it already exists. The subconscious mind, seeing these clear images, begins to create pathways, subtle actions, choices, and opportunities that align with the reality you have envisioned. The beauty of combining visualization with intentional language is its universality. It works regardless of age, background, or circumstance. Whether you are pursuing career goals, healing, relationships, or creative endeavors, the principle remains the same. See it, feel it, speak it, and let your subconscious mind orchestrate the steps. Florence Scovel Shinn repeatedly emphasized that this alignment is the key to manifesting desires effortlessly because it programs both the mind and the environment to recognize and create what you truly intend. Even small, consistent practice compounds. Imagine taking just 10 minutes each morning to visualize your ideal day, speak your affirmations, and feel the emotions of having what you desire. Over weeks, months, and years, this tiny daily investment in language and imagination transforms perception, behavior, and opportunity. Your actions begin to flow naturally, obstacles diminish in significance, and life begins to reflect the reality you have rehearsed internally. And here's the profound truth. The external world responds not to passive wishing, but to the clarity, intensity, and consistency of your inner rehearsal. Words alone or images alone can help, but together, they create a powerful alignment that activates the subconscious mind and sets the stage for real-world manifestation. You are literally scripting the next chapter of your life before it unfolds. So, I invite you to take a moment now and imagine your dream vividly. Picture every detail, feel the emotions as if it has already happened, and speak affirmations that align with that vision. Let your words and images work together, planting seeds in your subconscious mind that will guide perception, action, and opportunity. This is the power Florence Scovel Shinn spoke of, the principle that transforms desire into reality. The moment you harness this combination, life begins to shift in ways you never thought possible because your mind, your words, and your imagination are all working together to bring your dreams to life. Your words have the power to shape your reality, guiding your subconscious mind and influencing the actions and outcomes in your life. So it is essential to speak with clarity, faith, and intention. One consistent shift in your self-talk can transform your confidence, decisions, and opportunities, replacing fear and doubt with declarations of possibility. When you vividly imagine your desires while speaking aligned words, your subconscious mind begins to recognize opportunities, solutions, and actions that bring those visions into reality. Focusing on possibility rather than limitation is crucial because your dominant thoughts and language act like seeds, nurture the flowers of abundance, joy, and growth, and the weeds of fear, lack, and scarcity will naturally diminish. Consistency matters more than perfection. Repeating aligned thoughts, words, and mental imagery strengthens the internal shift that eventually manifests externally. Ultimately, you are the creator of your life. By aligning your mind, words, and imagination with your desires, you activate the natural law of manifestation and step confidently into the life you were always meant to live. Seeds that never sprout. Take the story of Daniel, a young artist living in a tiny apartment with peeling wallpaper and a leaky faucet. He dreamed of having his artwork displayed in galleries, of being recognized, of making a living from his passion. Every day, he sent out portfolios, attended networking events, and posted online, but nothing came. He was discouraged. He wished, he hoped, he prayed, but it all felt distant. Then one night, he read a quote that changed everything. "Faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen." That night, he closed his eyes, imagined his paintings hanging in beautiful galleries, heard visitors praising them, felt the excitement and pride swelling inside him. Then he said aloud, "This is mine. I believe it and I accept it now." Daniel didn't know how it would happen. He didn't have a gallery lined up or a wealthy patron waiting. He only had faith, faith that the universe responds to certainty, faith that the unseen will bend to the weight of his belief. Within weeks, a small gallery owner contacted him after seeing his online portfolio. The owner offered a solo exhibition and people came. Collectors bought his work. Daniel's faith had activated doors that his hope alone could never have opened. Faith is different from hope because hope is passive. Hope says, maybe, perhaps, I wish it could happen. Faith says, it is done. I accept it. I believe it is mine. Hope waits. Faith acts without hesitation. Think of history's great leaders. Abraham Lincoln faced unimaginable obstacles, from political rivals to civil war. Did he merely hope to save the Union? No. He believed, with a resolute inner certainty, that a united nation could survive. That belief drove every decision, every speech, every midnight letter he wrote. His faith created a path through the chaos that hope alone never could. Faith also transforms the way you perceive opportunity. When you believe something is already yours, your eyes start to see doors where, before there were only walls. Opportunities that others pass by unnoticed become visible. People begin to treat you differently because you radiate certainty and the universe responds in kind. Take the example of a young woman named Alicia. She wanted to launch an online coaching business, but felt insecure about her abilities. For months, she hoped clients would find her. One evening, she made a simple but radical decision. I believe my services are needed. I believe clients will come. I believe this is my purpose. She spoke it every day, wrote it in her journal, and felt it deeply in her heart. Within weeks, she received her first paying client from a referral she didn't even expect. Then another and another. Her faith had created a ripple effect, activating unseen channels she had no way of predicting. Faith doesn't rely on evidence. In fact, the more unseen the path, the more it is tested. Consider the Wright brothers. They had no prior blueprint for human flight. They couldn't hope for success. They had to believe in the impossible. Every failed experiment, every crash, every skeptical observer could have crushed them. But they persisted, fueled by an unwavering faith that flight was possible. That faith moved them to act relentlessly. Eventually, they soared above Kitty Hawk, turning the unseen into reality. Faith also shields you from doubt and fear. Doubt is the enemy of manifestation because it contradicts the words you speak and the visions you hold. Every time you speak, I hope it works, or maybe it's possible, you create hesitation in the invisible world. But faith removes hesitation. Faith says, I don't know the how, I don't know the when, but I know the what. I know it will happen. Florence Scovel Shinn described faith as a command that the universe cannot ignore. When you speak your desires with faith, the invisible forces begin to align, resources appear, people show up, and events conspire to bring your vision into form. Think about it in simple terms. Imagine you are calling a friend on the phone. If you say, I hope you answer, and then hesitate, the connection may be weak. But if you say, I am calling and I know you'll pick up, your tone changes, your energy changes, and somehow the friend answers almost immediately. Faith carries energy that hope cannot. It moves the unseen, it shifts probabilities, it attracts what is needed. Faith also creates resilience. Life will challenge you. Doors will close, plans will fail, and storms will come. Hope alone falters under pressure. But faith endures. It whispers, this is mine. I will find the way. I will receive it. Faith allows you to persist when everything seems impossible. It turns obstacles into lessons, setbacks into signals, and waiting into preparation. Consider the story of Nelson Mandela. He spent 27 years in prison. Could he have merely hoped for freedom? Hope would have been fragile, flickering, uncertain. Instead, he held unwavering faith that justice, equality, and freedom would prevail. That faith guided his thoughts, strengthened his actions, and inspired millions around him. His belief activated a future that hope alone could never have delivered. Faith is not blind. It is informed by your vision, your clarity, and your spoken commands. When combined with action, it becomes unstoppable. Daniel took opportunities when they appeared. Alicia responded to clients. The Wright brothers built and tested relentlessly. Faith does not mean inaction. It means action with the certainty of arrival. Faith transforms patience into power. It turns waiting into magnetism. It turns dreams into inevitability. Even in small, everyday life, faith can work instantly. Imagine standing in line at a coffee shop, hoping someone will cut in line. You may wait endlessly, wishing. But if you approach the barista with confidence, speak your desire politely but clearly, you are far more likely to receive what you want. Faith, even in tiny forms, sets events into motion. It signals certainty to the world and to the invisible forces that respond to it. So, how do you cultivate this faith? Start by imagining your desire as already fulfilled. Feel it. Speak it. Act as if it is already yours. Reject doubt. Ignore evidence to the contrary. Trust in the invisible architecture of life that responds to certainty. As Florence Scovel Shinn said, "Whatever you speak with faith, the universe must deliver." Those words are not just philosophy, they are instructions for life. Every great achiever, every visionary, every pioneer has practiced faith. They didn't wait for proof, for the perfect conditions, or for the world to say yes. They believed, and that belief created the path. When you speak with faith, when you embody faith in thought, word, and feeling, unseen opportunities appear. People, ideas, resources, and circumstances begin to align as if answering a silent command. You stop chasing. Instead, the universe begins to chase you. Faith is the bridge between desire and reality, between the seen and unseen. It transforms vague hope into unstoppable momentum. It turns commands into manifestations. And it is available to everyone, every day, in every situation. No matter how impossible a situation seems, faith lights the way. It activates forces you cannot yet perceive. It creates possibilities that hope could never imagine. When you learn to replace hope with faith, your life changes. Doors open. Opportunities arrive. People appear. Solutions manifest. Wealth, success, and fulfillment flow, not because they were distant dreams, but because you claimed them with certainty, spoke them with conviction, and believed them with unwavering faith. Faith is the unseen engine of reality, the invisible force that answers your commands, and the secret that turns every desire into inevitable manifestation. Have you ever noticed how a single thought can change the course of your entire day? One fleeting idea, one simple visualization, can shift your mood, your energy, and even the people you attract. Energy follows thought, and when you understand this, you realize that your mind is not just a place to daydream. It is a command center, a magnet, a force that directs your life toward what you focus on. Every thought you hold carries energy, and that energy shapes not just your actions, but the circumstances and opportunities around you. Imagine a young woman named Clara. She worked in a crowded office, feeling invisible and stuck. Every morning she walked into the building thinking, "I'll never be noticed. No one values me." Her energy was small, hesitant, almost apologetic. People treated her accordingly, offering little guidance, few opportunities, and minimal respect. But one day, she stumbled upon a quote by Florence Scovel Shinn. "The game of life is a game of boomerangs. Our thoughts, deeds, and words return to us sooner or later with astounding accuracy." Clara realized her inner dialogue, her thoughts, were shaping her reality. She decided to experiment. The next morning, she walked into work thinking, "I am confident. I contribute immense value. People recognize and respect my skills." She didn't yet have the promotions, the recognition, or the awards. She only held the thought. But her posture changed. Her voice became clearer, her smile warmer, her presence stronger. Within hours, a manager noticed her contributions, praised her work, and invited her to lead a small project. Clara's thought, her inner energy, had aligned her actions, and the world responded. The universe mirrored the energy she radiated. This principle is not limited to small victories. It applies to wealth, health, relationships, and dreams. Consider Michael Jordan. Long before he became a basketball legend, he visualized each game, each shot, each movement on the court. He saw himself making the perfect play, sinking the winning basket, standing victorious. Every thought fueled his energy, his training, and his actions. His imagination became his magnet, drawing reality into alignment with the vision he held. Energy always follows thought. Even in history, this principle appears again and again. Nikola Tesla imagined electric currents flowing invisibly through wires, a world lit by alternating current, decades before it was realized. Every night, he visualized his inventions in vivid detail. He felt their operation in his mind. His thoughts energized his actions, his experiments, and eventually, the world itself. Tesla's thoughts were not idle musings. They were charged with energy that moved reality into form. Energy follows thought because thought creates vibration. You may not see it, but your thoughts emit frequencies that the universe responds to. Negative thoughts, filled with doubt and fear, send out signals of limitation. Positive, focused thoughts, filled with belief and purpose, emit signals of possibility. Your outer world is a reflection of your inner energy. This is why people who cultivate strong, consistent thoughts toward their goals tend to achieve them, while those who drift in doubt and indecision often struggle. Take the story of Raj, an aspiring entrepreneur. He had a dream to start a tech company but feared failure, constantly thinking, what if it doesn't work? What if I lose everything? His energy was scattered, filled with anxiety. No investors or partners seemed to notice him. One day, after reading about the power of focused thought, he changed his approach. Each morning, he imagined his business thriving, felt the excitement of clients using his product, envisioned his team growing, and spoke affirmations with conviction. His thoughts aligned his energy, which aligned his actions. He sent confident pitches, attracted talented collaborators, and found investors who believed in his vision. Within a year, his startup gained traction, proving that when energy follows thought, the world begins to mirror your internal focus. Even in relationships, this principle holds. Have you ever noticed how your attitude toward someone shapes their response? If you approach someone thinking, they will reject me, your energy reflects that fear. You slouch, your voice falters, your words carry hesitation. People respond in kind. But if you approach someone thinking, I am interesting, I am confident, we will connect, your energy changes. Your posture, your tone, your presence radiates that confidence, and people respond accordingly. Thoughts generate energy, energy shapes action, action shapes outcomes. The way you feel is equally important. Thoughts paired with emotion amplify energy. If Clara had merely thought, I am confident, but felt anxious or uncertain, the energy would have been weak. When she combined thought with a feeling of confidence, her energy strengthened, magnetic forces activated, and reality responded. This is why visualization exercises, affirmations, and feeling the emotion of success are so powerful.